Hola, feliz viernes! Hoy es viernes, yo soy Rory, and I'm super glad to be with you here today. Today it is a super windy day here in Colorado, and it is actually the last Friday before taxes are due next week. Ay, ay, ay! I don't know about you, but man, this is just a painful time of year. Common Ground has had a great year in 2017, and we're super thankful for that and for you guys being a part of our community. But at the same time, it's a painful time of year to be completing our taxes and everything. Anyway, today we are looking at present tense verbs and stem changers. This is lesson 2 in a series of 4 about present tense verbs in Spanish. So after today, we're halfway there. Okay, so last week what we did, just by way of review, is we looked at the basic conjugations of present tense verbs. And remember, conjugations have everything to do with the ending of the verb, right? And so we drop the AR of a verb and we add these endings. So AR verbs, the yo form gets an O, the to form gets as, el, ello, usted, they share an ending, so that gets an a. Nosotros, amos, ais, and an, okay? ERs, o, es, a, hemos, eis, en, and then IRs, o, es, a, imos, is, and en. So those are the conjugations for regular present tense verbs in Espanol. Now, today what we're looking at is a class of verbs that have one extra step in them, and they're called stem changing verbs. So, let me show you some examples. Unos ejemplos de verbos que cambian de raíz. El paciente tiene dolor de la rodilla. Well, tiene comes from the verb tener, which is a stem changing verb, e to ie. Okay? Él no puede mover la rodilla. He can't move his knee. And puede comes from poder, which isn't e to ie, but it's o to ue. A different kind of stem change. And so what we're seeing is that the ending follows the rules, but the stem of the verb has an additional step we have to take care to include in our conjugation. Let's look at some more examples. We've got a handful more. Cuando mueve la rodilla, tiene mucho dolor. When he moves his knee, he has a lot of pain. Mover, o to ue. Mamá no duerme bien. Dormir, o to ue. Mom doesn't sleep well. Ella se despierta muchas veces en la noche. So she wakes up a lot at night. This is from despertarse, e to ie. Now this se, don't get confused by it. That means it's a reflexive verb like me llamo Rory. I call myself. Well, say she wakes herself muchas veces en la noche. We are looking at that one next week, okay? Ella dice, she says, solamente quiero dormir. I just want to sleep. Dice comes from decir, e to I, a different kind. We haven't seen that one yet. And then quiero, e to ie. Okay? Solamente quiero dormir. Now, if you're old like me, you probably remember an old commercial on TV called it's for a Taco Bell, and there's like this Chihuahua running around, and he would speak, and he would say, "Yo quiero Taco Bell," and that's that's the one thing you could put in your mind to remember these stem changing verbs. Okay, ella vuelve a la cama e intenta otra vez. So she goes back to bed, she returns to bed, and tries again. This is from volver, o to ue, and we see its conjugations there. So what I want to share with you is cuatro cambios, 4 different kinds of changes, and the pattern for how you change these stem changing verbs in Espanol. So cuatro cambios de raíz, 4 stem changes, y el patrón, and the pattern. Okay, so let's take a look. E to ie is one kind of stem change we saw quite a bit in those examples. O to ue is another. E to I, and then there's a lonely u to ue, which has very few verbs. In fact, the only one that comes to mind for me is the verb to play, jugar. Okay, so how do these verbs conjugate? So let's take a look at poder. We'll use an O to UE example. This is a great verb to say you can do something, you can't do something. Usted puede, usted no puede. You should know this verb, poder. To be able to. So starting off, yo puedo. What we do is the endings follow the regular rules. So we drop it and we add our patterned endings depending on whether it's AR, ER, or IR. That's not what we're looking at today. We did that last week. What we're looking at today is what happens in this stem change. So the O of the stem, pod, becomes pue, and then we add the ending, puedo. Okay? Tú puedes, él, ella, usted puede. Now, nosotros doesn't have a stem change. Nosotros podemos. And it's not just unique to this verb. There's never a nosotros stem change. Neither the vosotros. Vosotros podéis. Ellos, ellas, ustedes pueden. So it does show up again in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. Some people affectionately call these boot verbs. Here's why. Because when you conjugate them, you start to see a little boot form after the conjugación is complete. So some people call these boot verbs. You could think of it that way. If you line your verbs out, singulars and plurals like that, then it will form a perfect boot for you. Let's look at some more examples and some práctica. Okay, cerrar. Here's the verb. Cerrar is the verb to close. It's an E to IE. So how's this going to go? Yo cierro. Tú cierras. Él, ella, usted cierra. Remember, o, as, a, that's following the normal conjugation rules. All we're doing is taking our E here and changing it to IE. Cierro, cierras, cierra. But we're not going to do it in nosotros, cerramos, nor will we do it in vosotros, cerráis, but we get back to doing it with the ellos, ellas, ustedes, cierran, and yes, this is the boot. There's the boot again. This is a boot verb, okay? Stem changing verb, boot verb, same thing. Great. Continuamos with a different kind of stem change. E to I now, okay? E to I. This is the verb pedir, the verb to ask for, is the verb that you, whenever preguntar is for asking questions, pedir is to request an object or request a favor. It's to ask for something. You wouldn't preguntar por. You just preguntar and you ask a question. But pedir is to ask for something. So this is a good verb for you to know. Yo pido. The E just changes to I. Yo pido. Tú pides. Él, ella, usted pide. Nosotros, no change, pedimos. Vosotros pedís. Ellos, ellas, ustedes piden. And there we have our boot again. Okay? Bien. There is no way for you to know that pedir is a stem changing verb E to I unless you study it that way. So as you're making your flashcards, you are going to study your verbs that pedir is an E to I stem changer. You just have to commit that to memory. Because you probably don't have enough exposure to Spanish for it to just sound right, okay? Great. If you do, awesome. Más práctica. Let's look at some sentences now, and you take a minute to see if you can get the conjugation down. Okay, la doctora, and now we're using the verb volver, to return. It's O to UE. La doctora returns pronto. What are you going to do? La doctora. Ella, right? It's the ella form, singular, feminine. Okay, la doctora, how do ER verbs change in the ella form? O, es, e. Okay, so it ended e, and then we have to change the stem. Volve becomes vuelve, and so we end up with la doctora vuelve. La doctora vuelve. Great, moving on. Nosotros, now same verb volver, al hospital. We return to the hospital. What do you remember about nosotros? Is it part of the boot or not? It's not. So, nosotros volvemos. Okay? A little tricky, I know, lo siento, but it's not my fault. All right, muy bien. Tú preferir, you prefer yoga para ejercicio. So, you prefer yoga for ejercicio. This verb brings up a slight little problem or question. We see if the stem is everything but the ending, prefer or prefer right here, and it's E to IE, we actually have two E's in the stem. Which one are you going to do? it's always the last one. So it's going to be this one that we stem change. To, E to IE, yoga para ejercicio. Now, to form IR ends in S. So that's the normal conjugation. So tú prefieres, you prefer yoga. Que, what does she prefer? Ella, the ella form, is going to end in just E. And so, stem change here. Que prefiere ella? Yo no respirar bien. I can't breathe well. O to UE, the yo form ends in O. Yo no puedo respirar bien. Nosotros can help. We can help. Nosotros, is nosotros part of the boot? Nope. So nosotros podemos ayudar. We don't have the answer. Nosotros podemos ayudar. It's podemos. Great. Las enfermeras medir al bebé. The nurses measure the baby is what we want to say. Medir is E to I. So las enfermeras, and I don't have the answer here for you either. Miden al bebé. Son of a gun, I didn't get my PowerPoint done just right. Okay, bien. La mamá pensar en el futuro. La mamá, what is it going to be? E to IE. La mamá piensa en el futuro. Okay, bien. Now, oh, see, we do have them. Look at that. Fantastico. They all show up. They're just out of order. Whew, kind of. Muy bien. Ahora que. Now what? First of all, your first step is to memorizar verbos comunes, okay? And usar fichas para estudiar. So memorize these common verbs. Last week I shared with you 101 common verbs and then 89 additional clinical verbs that you're going to want to know. So here's what this list looks like. It's actually attached to our download today. It's 2 pages of verbs, 3 columns. The ones in red mean, whoa, slow down. These are irregulars, which we're going to get to soon. Okay, but in this list of verbs, you've got a note for each verb that is a stem changer. It'll tell you if it's O to UE, E to IE, and that's just how you have to study it. So on one side of your flashcard, you have contar, the verb to count, parentheses O to UE. And then on the flip side, you've got to count and all of the different conjugations so that you can study them that way. Okay? Bien. Practicar las conjugaciones, like we were just saying. Use la pelota, the verb ball, like I showed you last week. Use el dado, the verb dice that I showed you last week. Or go ahead and head off to Quizlet.com, CGI Spanish, where you can see some of these verbs and practice those online. Muy bien, muchas gracias. For más oportunidades con español, visítenos en commongroundinternational.com. Hasta luego. Thank you for joining me today on this Video Viernes lesson. I wanted to invite you to join our community if you're not a member of the Facebook group already that I deliver these live lessons in on most every Friday. And also point you to the website where you can find a bunch more information about medical Spanish, whether that be courses or free materials for you or finding a private tutor to work with you online or face-to-face. And also let you know about some amazing Spanish immersion programs, either you as a medical person or your significant other as working in some other industry or your family. If you want to improve your Spanish and you have time and budget to go do some travel, our programs are pretty amazing. I think it'd be fun to work with you. And finally, if you have some document work at your clinic or at your hospital or within your setting that needs to be professionally translated, shoot me a message, upload your document to us, and we can get you a quick quote and help you out with your Spanish language documents as well. Have a great day.